This is 2.6, part 2. So the first here, we're finding f of g of x. So we're taking the g of x function, plugging it into the f function. So we're taking the g of x function, plugging it into the f of x function. So that would be x squared. So this is our x, and we're squaring it, which is 2x minus 5 times 2x minus 5. Double distribute, algebra 1 stuff. 4x squared minus 10x minus 10x minus 20x together, and plus 25. Number 6, we're finding g of f of x. So now we're taking the f function and plugging it into the g function. So we have 2, and then we're plugging that in there for that, which is 2x squared minus 5. Number 7, okay, we have some different functions here. We're going to find f of g of 3. Okay, so I like to find g of 3 first. So g, plug in the 3, is 6, minus 1 is 5. So I want to do the 5. F of 5 is 25, plus 5 times 3 is 15, which is 40. Here we're finding g of f of negative 2. So first find f of negative 2. So negative 2 squared is 4. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. So we have g of negative 2. Plug in negative 2 here. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. 9, we're finding f of g of x. So we're taking the g of x function, plugging it into our f of x function. So the x squared would be 2x minus 1 squared plus 3 times plugging that 2x minus 1 in. Okay, to work this out then, this would be the same as 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1 plus 3 times this. And that gives you 4x squared minus 2x is minus 4x plus 1 plus 6x minus 3. When you distribute that through, combine your like terms, you get 4x squared plus 2x minus 2. Number 10, finding g of f of x. So we're taking the f function, plugging it into the g function. So we'll have 2, plugging this in there. Get this. Distribute it through. 2x squared plus 6x minus 1. Okay, we're going to make a jump to number 48. Okay, we're doing the same thing but from a graph now. You can see both things here maybe. Okay, so 48a, we're finding f of g of 2. Okay, so first we're finding g of 2. So our g is the red function. G of 2 looks like it's to be negative 2. So we're finding f of negative 2. So our f function is the blue. Of negative 2 looks like it's negative 4. Okay. Part B, we're finding g of 0. Okay, so first we're finding g of 0. So in our g function of 0 is 2. Well, let's write this. Okay, so that's 2. And then g of 2. And our g function, when we find g of 2, it's negative 2. Part C, we're finding g of f of 4. Okay, so first we'll find this f of 4. So in our f function of 4, looks like it's 2. And then our g function of 2 is negative 2. Okay, there is no part D there. Okay, that's 48. Number 50. Okay, same sort of idea here. Okay, so part A, we're finding f of g of -2. Okay, so first we're finding the g of -2. So the g of -2 is 4. And then f of 4 is 2. Finding g of f of 1. So we first find f of 1. F of 1, so f is the blue, of 1 is 1. And then g of 1 is also 1. F of 0. So we want to find f of 0 first here. So in our f function, that's the blue one, of 0 is 0. And then f of 0, once again, is 0. Okay, 52. Okay, so we're using this chart right here. So part A says we want to find g of f of 1. So f of 1, so here's our f function, of 1 is 2. Then we're going to find g of 2, so our g function of 2 is 4. Part B, we find f of g of 4. And while I'm at it, part C is f of 3. Okay, part B, g of 4, g of Okay, so we don't have a g of 4 here, do we? Okay, so since there's no g of 4 here, we're going to say this is undefined because there's no g of 4 to look for here. Okay, part C, f of 3, so f of 3. So f of 3 is 6. And then we want f of 6 then, so I'll scoot that over a little bit for you. F of 6. F of 6 is equal to 7. Okay, next we'll skip to number 60. Okay, so part A, we want to find f of g of x. Part B, we want to find g of f of x. And part C, we want to find f of x. Okay, so in number 60 here, we're using these functions. So g of f of x, we're taking the g function, taking this function and plugging it into the f function. So we'll have 2 minus that in there for, we'll plug that in there for that x. That's our answer. Can't simplify it at all. Next one, we're taking the f function, plugging it into the g function. So the g was 1 over x squared, but we're plugging the 2 minus x in there for that. And then we want to square this. Be 2 minus x times 2 minus x and distribute it through. So it'd be 4 minus 2x is minus 4x and plus x squared. Now, if you want to put it in standard form, Maribel mentioned this the other day, it would be x squared minus 4x plus 4. Either way is fine. Okay. Part C is f of x. We're taking f of x and we're plugging it into that f of x. So we'll have 2 minus, and we're going to plug that in there, 2 minus x. So that's 2 minus 2 plus x, which equals x. 62. Okay, so we're finding those three things. Okay, number 62. Make sure you can see stuff here. Okay, so first one we're taking the g function, plugging it in here. That's going to be a doozy next one. Anyway, taking this and plug it in here. So we'll have x to the fourth plus x squared minus 3x minus 4, and plus 2. Okay, so that's the x plus 2. And if we combine the like terms, x to the fourth plus x squared minus 3x, combine these like terms is minus 2. Okay, this one's a tough one. There's a lot of work to it. Okay, we got to take the f function and plug it into the g function. So we're going to have this plugged in here. So it'd be x plus 2 to the fourth plus x plus 2 squared minus 3 times x plus 2 minus 4. Okay, now to work that to the fourth power out, I don't really have enough room to write it here, so I'm going to do it on another piece of paper to show you. X plus 2 to the fourth, we're going to have to work that out, is x plus 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 2. Okay, so let's take 2 at a time. So this will be x squared plus 2x is plus 4x plus 4. And this one also is going to give you that same thing, right? X squared plus 2x plus 4x and plus 4. Okay, now if I multiply these together, this is x to the fourth plus 4x to the third plus 4x squared. I got to take the 4x through. Okay, that'd be 4x to the third plus 16x squared plus 16x. Take the 4 through. 4x squared plus 16x plus 16. Combine our like terms. X to the fourth plus 8x to the third plus 24x squared plus 32x plus 16. Okay, so that's just this part here. So this would be x to the fourth plus 8x to the third, 24x squared plus 32x plus 16. Then we're going to add the squared part, so we already know that. X plus 2 times x plus 2, we did that up there, right, is x squared plus 4x plus 4. We're going to subtract, distribute this through, minus 3x minus 6, and then minus 4. Okay, so we combine our like terms. That's the only x to the fourth term. This is the only x to the third term. X squareds, we got 24 plus 1 more there, make 25x squareds. 32 plus 4 x's make 36. Minus 3 make 33 x's. And then 16 plus 4 is 20. Minus 6 minus 4 is 10. So that was a lot of work to that one. Okay, and then part C for 62, f of x. I'm glad we don't have to plug it into that one, that would be horrible. F of x, we're taking this x, f of x, and plugging it into that x. So we'll have x plus 2 for the x, and then plus 2, which is x plus 4. Okay, 64. Okay, so number 64. First one, we're taking the g function, plugging it into the f. Taking the g function, plugging it in here. So we'd have the square root of 4 minus x squared. That's our x, and then plus 4. Can't simplify that at all, we'll leave it. This one here, we're taking the f function, plugging it into the g. Taking this f function, plugging it into the g. So we have the square root of 4 minus, and we're plugging that in, x plus 4 squared. Okay, now to square this, x plus 4 times x plus 4, which is x squared plus 8x plus 16. Okay, and if I combine the like terms there, I have negative x squared minus 8x, and then 4 minus 16 would be negative 12. Okay, f of x. We're taking this function, plugging it right back into there. So that's going to be x plus 4 plus 4, which is x plus 8. 66 is finding the same functions here. And 66 we're finding first f of g of x. So we're taking the g of x function, plugging it in here. So it'd be 2x plus 3 minus 3 divided by 2. So those cancel out. Gives you 2x over 2, which equals x. G of f of x. So we're taking the f of x function, plugging it into the g there. So we have 2 x minus 3 divided by 2 plus 3. The 2's will cancel there. So you have x minus 3 plus 3, and we get just x. Okay? Little thing for the future here, when we find f of g of x and g of fx and they both equal x, we know that they are inverse functions. We haven't really talked about that yet. You did it in Algebra 2, but there we go. Okay, and f of x, we're taking this, plugging it right in there. So it'd be x minus 3 divided by 2. That'd be the x part, minus the 3, and divided by 2. I think we're just going to leave that alone for right now. Okay. Okay, 68 says, if we have an f of x, an output that is a constant, okay, so think about it this way, from negative infinity to positive infinity, if we have a constant output, how many elements are in the range of f of x? Okay, let's just make say f of x is equal to 2. Okay, so if f of x, I mean, there's nothing to plug in, so it really just stays that function. So what is in the range here? How many elements? Just one number's in there. Okay, so that's 68. Next one is 76. Okay, so I give you another one of these to do. Okay. Okay, so first we have to find the f of x plus h. We're taking x plus h and putting it in here. Okay, then we have to subtract the f of x, which is 5x minus 6, and divide the whole thing by h. Okay, then we just have to simplify it. So 5x plus 5h minus 6 minus 5x plus 6. Okay, notice those cancel and those cancel. So we have 5h over h, which is 5. 79. Okay, it's just x to the third. Okay, so to find x of x plus h, that is x plus h to the third minus our f of x function, which is x to the third, and divide by h. Okay, so we need to do x plus h times x plus h times x plus h, and then subtract x to the third divided by that. Okay, I just like to keep it a little neater, so I'm going to do the multiplying on here. So I'm going to take two of them, be x squared plus xh plus xh plus h squared, which is x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. And I have to multiply it by this third x plus h. So I'm going to have x to the third plus x squared h, and take this through, plus 2x squared h plus 2x h squared, and take this through. This would be x h squared and h to the third. So we have x to the third, combined like terms are both x squared h's, so there's 3x squared h's there. And x h squared, 2 plus 1 more makes 3 of those x h squareds, plus h to the third. Okay, so that's x to the third plus 3x squared h plus 3x h squared plus h to the third minus x to the third divided by h, which then, okay, combine like terms together. Notice those cancel. And if I divide an h out of all of them, it'd be 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared. And that's number 79. Number 85. Okay, so in 85 we want to find f of g of x. What are the f of x function and what are the g of x functions? Okay, so what are we plugging into what equation here? Okay, so the easiest thing, you could have multiple answers here, but the easiest thing is thinking about, okay, we're going to take this 6x and plug it in underneath there. So the g of x will be the 6x, and we're taking that and plugging it into the square root of x plus 12. So we take that, plug it in right there, we have that answer. Okay, 86. Once again, we're doing the f of g of x idea, just different function. Okay. So which is my f function and what is my g function? Okay, the easiest thing is to think about, I could take this 2x plus 3 and plug it into that equation, right? So I'm going to say the g of x is the 2x plus 3, and my other function would be the cubed root of x minus 4. So if I take that, plug it in there for that x, I have that right there. Okay, 87 and 88 yet? Okay, 87, the fixed cost is $500. The cost produced is $10, so those are our two costs. And then we sell our revenue, we sell for $35, okay? So part A, the cost function would equal $10 for every device, whatever we're making here, every item, plus another $500 on top of that. Part B, find the revenue function. So the revenue, what we're bringing in is $35 for every item. Part C, state the profit function. So the profit function would be how much we bring in minus how much we have to, our costs. Okay, if I subtract there, it'd be 25x minus 500. Distribute through the negative. Determine how many items to be a profit. Okay, so we want this 25x minus 500 to be greater than 0. Okay, so you solve that. 20. We need more than 20 will break even, more than 20 will be better. Okay? And E, think about that graphically. You have this equation here. Starts at negative 20. Starts down here at negative 500, and goes up with a slope of 25. And it's right here at 20 is where it's equal to 0. And then above 20, we'll start making a positive profit. Okay, the last problem is number 88. So another cost, okay. You can see a little better, sorry. Okay, so this one here you couldn't see, but starts at negative 500, slopes goes up 25 over 1, and at 20 is where the break-even point is. That's where I have 0 profit, and then above 20, at 21, 22, 23 is when I start having a positive profit. Okay, 88. Part A, our costs are equal to $11 for every item plus $180. My revenue, what I'm bringing in, they sell for $20 for every item. C, my profit will be how much is coming in minus how much is being spent. So that'd be 9x minus 180. Part D, I want to know where this 9x minus 180 is going to be greater than 0. So 180 divided by 9 is 20 again. Okay, and E, looking at it graphically, this graph here starts at negative 180 and have a slope of 9. And we know right here at 20 is that break-even point. Okay. Come ready for questions in class if you have some.